from throwing an axe that is not going to hit anything to throwing an axe that hits the target to throwing an axe that hits the bullseye. From uncomfortable to comfortable to badass, just with a little bit of coaching. Hey, what's up? This is Donna St. Louis here, and I have three beautiful guests today on my live. Hey, girls, we are in, and by the way, I'm just gonna go ahead and put them out there. We have a whole pool of people in the hot tub. Yeah, so I don't want y'all to feel like I'm out here by my. No, we got people in the hot tub. I'm working. Wait, I'm working. They not. I'm working. They not. See, yeah. See how that works? Yeah. So yeah, okay. But this is work. So when you hear me say I'm going to be getting questions from our guest audience, it'll be the people with the fruit and the drinks and the water in the hot tub. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about the secret to influencing and attracting your ideal, your dream, your signature client online. Because quite honestly, there is a big difference in messaging when it's only like one or two words that you're off. And there is nothing more frustrating than busting your ass to put out amazing content only for it to fall flat for your dream client. Because what are you doing? You're trying to make everybody happy. And what I'm trying to do is get you to get that one somebody really, really excited to work with you. All right. So my guest here today, we have, I can't wait till y'all find out these three egos. I mean, for real. We have Ilika. Ilika, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Ilika Follette, and I work with wellness entrepreneurs to move away from the chasing the grind and move toward monthly recurring revenue. Using my Reclaim Your Revenue methodology, we get you work less, live more, and feel better so you can reclaim your revenue.
Awesome sauce. Jada Prince.
Hello, darling.
Oh, Lord. It's the hair flips for me.
I am Jada, the Fire Savvy Chef.
Yes.
Hey, y'all. I am a spice artisan. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Sassy Chef's Kitchen. And watch out for my new Sassy Foodie experience.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Cynthia McFarlane. I'm founder of Lawpreneur, and I typically work with athletes, helping them win their cases with my Lawpreneur framework, even if they've never been in trouble before.
Yeah.
Awesome. I just want y'all to know, did y'all see how their big viral promise, their signature promise was fire? Like, boom, they step in, you know exactly what they do. That's all what Fire Savvy does. But now we're going to talk about the three egos. All right. So this is your chance. Get your pen, get your paper. This really is going to be hard to keep up with, but just in case, you're like the people over in the pool. And you are, and you don't have pen and paper like the people in the pool. Right. I made this really easy. All right. So I want you to think in terms of a pendulum. Okay. We got a pendulum. And we're going to start on this side of the pendulum. We're going to talk about the egos, because here's the thing. Your ego is what you should be stepping into, because everybody always wants to act like an ego is a bad thing. Your ego is not a bad thing, right? The overuse of it might be, but stepping into your ego and owning who you are is not a bad thing. So we're going to talk about the top three egos and how you leverage those. But first, you got to recognize yourself, right? Why are the egos critical? Because of this. Number one, your ego is like speaking your own language. It's like if I was a fluent Spanish speaker, then all of my posts are likely going to be in Spanish. Everything I say is going to be in Spanish. Everything I write is going to be in Spanish. But if I'm trying to attract English speakers, I'm going to miss, right? I'm going to attract Spanish speakers because that's what I'm speaking. It's the same thing with your ego. Your ego is the language that you use. Part of it is the language that you use, and that language will attract your signature client. So let's talk about the three egos. They're on a pendulum. We're going to go all the way over to this side with the very first ego. And this ego is the signature ego. What's up, Chanel? There go my Listen, I'm working hard. Chanel hanging out. That's all I'm saying. No, she's in Virginia. We just finished up the Unmastermind. All right. So so the first ego is the significance ego. That's the first one we're going to look at. So when you think of significance, think of people who create the spotlight. They recognize that the world actually does revolve around them. Am I saying it right, Alika?
I think that's correct.
Right. Would you like to go ahead and describe it?
We speak. You know, I just we speak as if everything is about us, right? It's about me doing better, feeling better. If my team does well, it's because it represents me and how I live and what I do.
Right.
And I get to live.
She is the epitome of significance. So what happens with significance people is, quite honestly, they do recognize self and as self being extremely important, right? They want people to see them, they want to be recognized, and they want their team and the people around them to be an extension of who they are, right? And so even when I talk about Fire Savvy and my clients, I'm like, don't go out there and embarrass Fire Savvy, because I might have a tiny bit of significance. Just a touch. I don't know why y'all laughing so hard.
We're a little bit like,
just a touch.
This is the
shade detector. Do not need a shade detector. I might have a touch of significance, right? So we recognize that our clients are an extension of us. Our team is an extension of us. And we do make a big deal about, hey, do not go out there and embarrass Fire Savvy. Do not embarrass us, right? Because we recognize that everything we put out has to be amazing, and the people around us, we want them to be amazing as well. Then you go all the way. I'm going to go all the way over to the other side. I'm going to skip the middle. I'm going to go all the way over to the other side, and I'm going to go to my people who are acceptance. So let's talk a little bit about the acceptance team. If significance people are really like, hey, what I need you to do is recognize that I'm the badass in the room and everything revolves around me. And if there's a stage, I should be on it. If there's a mic, I should be talking to it. If there's a camera, I should be in front of it because I have something to say, and what I have to say is important. Acceptance people ride or die for their team. They are all about their team. Let me go ahead and get that acceptance person to raise her hand. Hey, baby. Yes, that is Crystal. And you know what? Crystal lives into her ego, right? She makes sure that everything for everyone is on point, 100% all the time. For her, she will go above and beyond as long as it's for the good of the team. Where's her challenge? Her challenge is acceptance, is putting herself first. What's the challenge for significance? Significance challenge is they don't want to be embarrassed. So significant challenge people may have a bigger problem putting themselves out front if they think they're going to be embarrassed. Acceptance people will have a hard time putting themselves out front because they don't want to be the center of attention. However, if you say it's for the team, they're going to jump up and do it. Okay, everybody good so far? Yeah. All right, let's go to number 3, which is right smack dab in the middle of the pendulum, and this is dominance. So my dominance people, if I had to use keywords for you, it would be words like win. You're very goal-oriented. You recognize that it's not about you and it's not just about the team. It's about hitting the goal. You're very, very goal-oriented people. You're chasing the goal. You're chasing the win. Everything is a competition for you. Yes, everything. Y'all literally come up with your own competitions. Like, who can hold the handle longest in the winter while pumping gas? Like, who cares? Y'all care, right? How many spaces did you get when you was driving home? Did you beat the time to get home? Did you beat Waze? Like, for real. This is what y'all feel. Right. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah. So dominance people are really goal-oriented. They're chasing the win. When you think about an acceptance person ride or die for the team. They don't want anyone to be left behind. Significance people think the team is a representation of them. Well, dominance people are like, listen, I don't care where you are on the team as long as you are taking up the slack and you're helping us get the win. The moment that you are not doing what you need to do, you probably need to get off of my team. And There won't be any love lost. They'll still love you, but they will trade your ass. All right. So that's the three. Those are your top 3 egos. And we'll talk in a minute about why this is important. So raise your hand if you, ready? Type it in. If you resonate with significance. 1, 2. We got some significance people over there. Okay. All right. Raise your hand if you resonate with acceptance. Okay. And then the last, dominance. Winner, chicken dinner. Okay. Now, sometimes you might feel like you resonate with a couple, like you're like, I'm significance, but I want to win for real, or I'm dominance, but I don't mind the spotlight because that's going to get me some more people. Or I'm acceptance, but I do want to win. Or I'm dominance, but I care about the team. Well, here's the thing. Remember that it's on a pendulum, right? And so because it's on a pendulum, it's not like you're only one or one. You literally fall on the spectrum, right? So you might be like significance leveraging dominance leveraging significance. So for example, significance leveraging dominance means that, you know what? I know if I win this award, it'll put me bigger in the spotlight. So I want to win because I'll get more spotlight. Or dominance could be like, I know that I want to have all the awards. I want to have the most awards that anyone's ever had. Or I know that if I dress a certain way, that I'm going to get more of something, right? So that's significance dominance. Then you have acceptance dominance. Acceptance dominance, people are like, listen, I'm going to ride or die for the team, but the team need to be winning some shit. Like, I'm not just out here riding or dying for ride or dying. Like, they got to be doing some things. Like, what are we doing? Are we just doing this because we sitting around in a circle and hugging and singing kumbaya? No. Acceptance dominance needs a win. They need to make sure there's a win. So you might feel like you fall a little bit in the spectrum, and that's okay. You pick where you are in the spectrum, because here's the thing. You're going to attract clients in the language that you speak. So the surprising thing for me, and it was very surprising, so let's just go ahead and own it, was that my team had the nerve to blindside me and tell me, blindside me and tell me that I was significance leveraging dominance.
And we were shocked that she thought that she was dominant. We were like, oh, did you think you were dominance leveraging?
And I did think I was dominance leveraging significance. And leveraging only the tiniest bit of significance at that. I'm like, it's just a little bit. What are you talking about? But then I talked to my therapist, and she's like, well, you might have some child suppression issues and you was running for it. But those first pair of glittery boots kind of said everything you need to say. So you know where you are on the spectrum. So why does this matter? Because go and take a look at how you write. Go and take a look at what you actually do and what you put out there. So for example, I'm not even saying it's rare. It's completely odd. Like, unless you're on medication, for someone to be significance leveraging acceptance, because they're so far on the other side of the spectrum, right? They're so far away. So what you really want to do is look at how you write, and write in your natural tone. What works for Fire Savvy and myself, and what we noticed, is this: I am significance leveraging dominance, according to them. And Chanel is dominance leveraging significance, right? But then we have Doug, who's dominance acceptance, and Crystal, who's dominance acceptance. So we literally run the gamut. Now, what's so cool about this is that we can write in several voices and bring in several different types of clients. However, since Chanel's voice and my voice are the top voices, most of the people in our audience are significance and dominance. I mean, I was really surprised that we had so many significance. I don't know who's attracting them. But nonetheless, there were a lot of significance dominance.
I'm shocked.
You're shocked, right? Like, I'm not the only one who's shocked, right? Yeah, there was a lot of significance. I was surprised at how many significance people were in the room. But we had a lot of significance and dominance with a few acceptance. And the acceptance people didn't feel like they were out, because we do have Doug the Hug, who makes sure that he draws in people. And then, of course, we have Crystal as well, and they draw in people from the acceptance realm. So we do have a nice run. So this lets you know that when you're putting together your team, you really want to try to put in a team that like speaks to all of them, as well as pay attention to your marketing. So our marketing is dominance, significance quite a bit. Then Doug's been marketing a lot more as well. So now we're even seeing a lot more acceptance coming through. All right. So this is the time. I'm going to go to the hot tub and I'm going to ask I'm not going to physically go to the hot tub, but I'm going to go to the hot tub. I'm going to move some stuff out of the way. Hold on. Cause they got drinks and everything. I'm going to move stuff. Did I just flash the camera?
Yes.
Is that what I did? They're amazing. All right. So let's go ahead. It's a great bra. Yes. You're welcome. All right. So, hey, so we're going to go to the hot tub. We're going to see if the hot tub has any questions. Hot tub. Do you all have any questions? Wait, are y'all on camera? Are they on camera?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, what questions do you have? Y'all don't have any questions? I picked up my whole laptop and flipped it.
When you talk about the tone of marketing to a significance dominance group, what would that sound like?
That is a great question. So the question was, if you're marketing to significance dominance, what would that sound like? Well, guess what I have? A whole document. All right. Of course, we have a book on this. So, so when you're talking to significance, of course, so I'll give you a really good example. If I were talking to someone who was acceptance and I was trying to sell them something that I thought would really put them in the spotlight, it would be a little cringy to them. Like if I'm like, hey, I have this amazing coaching program and you deserve to be in the spotlight and I'm going to put you in the spotlight and everyone's going to see you and recognize you and they're going to be like, I'm sorry, what? Like that's a little over the top, right? Yes. But if I said, you know what, you ride or die for your team. You are the person who makes sure that your team hits those goals and knocks it out of the park every day, twice on Sunday. I have a blog that's going to help you do this and make your team a rock star team. That's way more attractive, right? Than someone, if I went significance, I'd be like, you know what? You're the best kept secret. You deserve to be in the spotlight. Everyone should recognize what a badass you are. This is right. So do you see how that, but I'm selling the same thing. I'm just selling it in a very different way. I'm using very different language. Yeah. Does that make sense? So the language makes sense because here's the thing. If you're a significance person, and I've seen this happen a lot, significance people will use acceptance language because they think that's what they have to use. Then they get acceptance people and they clash because they're not speaking the same language. The acceptance people are like, oh my God, you're gross, right? And the significance people are like, do something, right? And so it just doesn't work because they're speaking different languages, even though they're going towards the same goal, right?
Makes sense.
Any comments? What y'all want to share? So you guys know your egos. How do your egos show up?
Well, for me, I'm definitely significant. For me, I'm definitely significant. Hopefully you can hear me. I would say that there is a weakness. There's pros and cons to both parts of this. And my weakness is that I need to show up a hell of a lot more. And I've been downplaying my significance.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And let's talk about that. Sometimes your significance will be, quite honestly, tamped down by, sometimes you're from a family who's like, you always doing too much. You always acting like you're this. You're always acting like you're that. You think you're better than everyone else. And if you're a significance, that could really, like, you will try to put yourself in a box and find yourself feeling so compressed and conflicted and almost ashamed of stepping into your power, stepping into what makes you shine, right? And it could be so hurtful. I'm not saying that's your story, but I know for me, definitely was. That's why I was like, what do you mean I'm significant? They're like, girl, you can't see it. Because there is like this shame associated to being significant. And then you find out, oh no, you know what? It's actually okay. Right. So yeah. And you gotta, stepping into it and owning it is huge. Yeah. It's huge. Well, you haven't had that problem doing that. So yeah, let's go from you.
I did have that problem at one point in my life, but that's the thing is, always being told you're too much, you're too everything, all that. So you start to believe that and shrink back.
Right. And generally you shrink back, by the way, into dominance. And when you're really pressed, you press all the way over into acceptance.
Exactly. So I thought I was dominance leveraging significance as well.
Really? Oh,
I know. We're not. And so, but that's the thing, because constantly being shrunk, right? Constantly told you too much. And so what I also realized is that when we're not standing in our ego, what happens is we're inauthentic.
Completely
inauthentic. If I'm sitting here trying to pretend I'm acceptance, imagine if I was trying to do what Crystal does.
Girl,
oh my God.
First of all, everything would be a wreck.
Everything.
We wouldn't be like, what's the schedule? Why do I care about your damn schedule? Get your shit together. That's what your schedule is.
Right. Exactly. Like I cannot be Crystal at all. Right. And it wouldn't even feel like me. And so I would actually, and instead of even attracting my people, I would start to repel them.
Yeah.
Everybody would be pushed away. Not only would significance be pushed away, but even acceptance, which I'm pretending to be, pushed away because everyone can see it's inauthentic.
And that's the thing. When you don't step into your ego, you literally people recognize that you're full of it, by the way, and they are like, I see you. And the way that I like to describe this is there are two snakes, right? Beautiful red, yellow snakes with a little black, absolutely gorgeous, right? And one is going like this, and it's headed its direction. It's going that way. It ain't even thinking about you. Right. It's going that way. It's doing its thing. The other snake, however, is coiled up really tight, really small, and it has its head like this, right? So one is coiled up tight with its head like this, and one is completely like full out heading its direction. Which snake are you more afraid of? The one on the path that's coiled up tight that looked like it's ready to strike, or the one that's going about its way? Which one are you more afraid of? The coiled one, right? The coiled one. Why are you afraid of the coiled one? You don't know what it's going to do, right? You're like, I don't know what's going to happen. That's exactly what happens when you try to take all of your ego and put it in a tiny little box. No one, because everybody else look at me like they big as fuck, right? When you see a coiled up snake, it could be 3 inches long. You'd be like, it's huge. It's an anaconda. It does not matter. It's huge, right? So in the mind of everyone else, you're huge. You're hiding something, because even on a snake, you're like, is that hiding its eggs or it's going to attack me, right? You're huge. You're hiding something. You're hiding your true identity. You're hiding your true nature. You're hiding your next action. But the one that's standing like, nah, this is me. I'm a snake. I'm going over there. I got things to do today. It's sunny out. I'm going to hang a little bit. What you doing? You screaming. All right, I'm just going to keep going that way. You're like, you're freaking out, right? But they're like, peace. Right. So one of it you're terrified of because you don't know what it's going to do. The other one you're terrified just because you're scary. Right. Right. And so it's really understanding like what, how you show up. When you show up in your full authentic self, people are going to start, even snake handlers go, no, the one that's laying out, I'm cool with. The one that's like this, I'm like, let me go get the stick. Right. You got to think of it that way. How are you showing up in your ego? And so that's the other thing that we really try to get people to do. Show up in your full-fledged, authentic ego. If you're dominance, if you're like, I'm about to win, I'm about the goal, I really want to hit the goal, then speak in that language, because your people are going to be more attracted to you. You work best with people in your ego or one-off. Your ego and one-off, because significance trying to work with acceptance is fuckery, right? Dominance can work with it. Dominance is the one. Dominance can work with significance and acceptance with no problem. Significance, stay where you at, right? However, right, you leverage dominance. However, if you are aware of what you do best and you stay in that lane, and the person you're working with, like you and Crystal could clearly work together because you both recognize what you do best. You're not expecting her. You're not mad at her for not being significant. Right. She's not mad at you for not being acceptance. You're both working in your lane, in your zone of genius, in your ego. And that's why it works. So you want to make sure your language shows up like that, so that when you're coaching people, you're coaching them into your expectation. I expect them to be this way. All right. Any other questions before we ride? Yes.
So you two give examples that you didn't necessarily recognize your true nature and strength. How do you suggest people figure out what they really are versus maybe what they think they are?
So there's two ways. Number one, because this issue came about, I decided to go ahead and create a test for it.
Yes,
Because I'm like, what the hell, right? The other thing, quite honestly, is some of this does have to do with going back to therapy when you're standing outside of your true nature. I tell people that all the time. Like the number one thing I would tell people they have is talk to a qualified therapist professional. The first thing I did when I was like, do you know what they said to me? And she's like, you didn't know? You didn't know that you were all the way over there. You didn't see that, right? So I would say number one, talk to a therapist. Number two, the people around you, I would say for sure in Fire Savvy, like they recognize it. They have no problem telling you. People in Fire Savvy will tell you. Also, for those people who are really interested and want to know, you can come to the Fire Savvy Challenge. So we do have a signature model challenge where we do talk about your ego, stepping into your delivery style, because your delivery style makes a huge difference as well, and it impacts your marketing. Understanding what your signature expertise is and how to leverage that, and then how to turn all of that into a high profit, high ticket experience for yourself and your clients. Any other questions? No. All right. That's all I got. People from the pool, say bye. Hold up. All right. That's all I got for you. Have a great night. If you want to come to the Signature Model Challenge, just go to firesavvy.net/challenge. I think that's the right URL. I'm not accepting, so I have to check with Crystal. That looks right. So we're going to go to firesavvy.net/challenge. If you want to join the Signature Model Challenge, there's one coming up, I think the 3rd week in October. Go with it. It sounds right. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.